If you're a regular driver of Highway 20 between Newport and Corvallis, this is a welcome sight. Those huge vehicles went back to work this summer, moving some of the 4 million cubic yards of earth to create the new US 20 Pioneer Mountain Eddyville project. Inside Lincoln County first took you to the project site in 2006. Then, suddenly, in 2007, the $130 million plan to cut a new, straighter, wider, and safer highway through the Coast Range came to a screeching halt. Discovery of ancient landslides led to a shutdown by ODOT and the contractor. Recently, we toured the nearly 7-mile stretch of rugged right-of-way with newly appointed ODOT project manager Joe Squire. We saw several bridges being built and learned about the key to this year's project revival. It's an agreement where the contractor and ODOT share the estimated $40 to $60 million increased cost of building the road through a method called buttressing.
What we had to do was take that mass and stop it from potentially moving. In order to do that, we placed what's called a buttress in the toe of this mass. But what that buttress does is it stops that potential landslide mass by taking the force of that mass and translating it through the buttress and into a stable hillside adjacent to it. It's like putting a doorstop in front of a door.
Squire and his counterparts with Yaquina River constructors realized mistakes were made during the initial year of construction. Halting the project and having a legal battle could have doomed the mission of bypassing a dangerous and outdated 11-mile stretch of US 20. Lincoln County's support and advocacy for the project has been critical with both state and federal legislators. Although they are not contributing direct funding to the project, the county agreed to accept jurisdictional transfer of 3 sections of highway as a contribution to the project. Instead of ending up in court, both ODOT and the contractor went back to work.
Within a design-build project, usually once an owner hands over a concept to a builder, they're responsible for that concept. I think that ODOT and the contractor or any reasonable person could say, we can't give everything to the contractor can't put us all back on ODOT, so how do we find a reasonable course of action? And avoiding court and coming to a reasonable course of action like we did is beneficial because we could be arguing still to this day about who's responsible rather than what's the right thing to do.
The massive earth-moving equipment worked through this year's construction season to literally reshape sections of the new highway alignment. Some areas feature entire hillsides being carved out, while that earth is moved to fill low sections. In between, 8 bridges, including one more than 1,000 feet long and 200 feet high, will tie it all together. The new relocated highway will shave 4 miles off the old route. Nearly 2/3 of that highway will include passing lanes, providing an improved link between Lincoln County and the I-5 corridor. Now you might wonder, with the construction season just ended here, 250 people working and all this heavy equipment, they used about 370,000 gallons of diesel fuel. Well, just so you know, that's enough to fill up every tank full in every household in Lincoln County. That earth moving itself was also part of the original controversy. The carving of hillsides and failure to properly protect the environment in the process pitted ODOT against DEQ and resulted in fines. Once again, the solutions to prevent runoff and damage to creeks and wildlife had to be updated.
We hydroseed it. We use several different erosion control measures to make sure we don't have any silt going into any of the streams, and we basically lock down the site for fall, winter, and spring, and then we start again in the summer.
Even though the heavy earth-moving activity must stop during the rainy season from October to April, crews remain on site to monitor the stabilization and make corrections if needed. Bridge work will also go forward during this period. So how are all these changes affecting the original timetable for opening up the new section of Highway 20?
What folks that are driving the old alignment don't notice, other than the west end and east end tie-ins, is the fact that we have a new 7-mile alignment. You can drive the whole thing now. We have 3 bridges under construction. We made a lot of progress in in less than 3 months. In that time, we moved 1.3 million cubic yards of dirt. We have made enough progress on the bridges that an Oregon company, Hamilton, will be actually building bridges over the winter. If we're able to get the project done earlier, that saves the contractor money, and hence it saves ODOT money. The earlier we get done, the better. And if it's better for ODOT, then it's ultimately the taxpayers that benefit.
Since most of the Highway 20 work is not visible from the current road, Inside Lincoln County will continue to visit the site and give you updates as the project continues. If you'd like to see a project map and read about the construction, it's all on the project website. There's also a 24-hour information line on the project at 1-866-780-8489.